I'm Jim L. Abrams at our studio at TV 47 here at the top of the hour. And of course, we just finished up a little while ago the Sylacauga City Council meeting with the council, Cal Ripken, and Little League. And there's a lot of people in there tonight, and we've got some of those people in here with us tonight. To my left is Kenan MacArthur. Kenan played through the system and high school baseball and professional baseball, and you still playing baseball?
I'm coaching baseball.
All right, coaching baseball. So glad to have Kenan with us. To my right is Donnie Blackmon, City Council District 3. Donnie, thank you for coming by. And Rocky Sims, the president of Sylacauga Little League. Rocky, thank you for being here tonight. First of all, Rocky, we'll begin with you. What was your take of the meeting tonight?
We didn't really. They pretty much said we wouldn't get in the fields back for. That's what one of the councilmen said. You know, and I don't think they'll rescind the vote.
Now, you said this to me a week or so ago. You feel the same way tonight?
I do.
Brother Donnie, you're on the council there. Your feelings on that, and how did you think it went tonight?
Well, it probably didn't go as well as I'd want it to. And first of all, let me just say, when we was invited, when you invited me, and I'm sure with these two fellas right here, that neither one of us know the other one was going to be here. Now, I'm not here in support of Cal Ripken. I'm not here in support of Little League.
Let me just say this right here. This TV station is not in support of any of y'all. We're here to give kind of balanced opportunities. And but back to your thought of how you think it went tonight.
Okay, well, some things may have been better. We're certainly more informed, and that was one of my main objectives. Mm-hmm. I had not sat down, and I mean, it's a known fact. I mean, there's no sense trying to cover it up, and I wouldn't do it anyway. I had not sat down with Rocky here or anybody else. Now, I did after we had sort of got things going. I did go by and sit down, and I talked some with Jim Armstrong and talked some with Steve Masters. And I didn't come away like they was trying to assassinate anybody, and I certainly didn't think you was trying to assassinate anybody when we had our conversation. But to my understanding, and I don't know, I'm still going to have to hold to that till somebody proves me different. My understanding is that within this year that we're talking about, the letter was the intent to terminate, that we could, whether it be do a new contract, put some revisions in there, or just rescind it or change it, whatever, we have the right to do that unless somebody can prove me that I'm wrong on that. So I feel like, and you know what, I don't think it's over till it's over. And I'm saying that and trying to be straight and upfront. I want to do what's right. And honestly, I think it's got a lot to do with kids. I mean, our kids, and I'm not against Cal Ripken. I can't attest as this brother here. I couldn't hardly hit a golf ball back when I was coming up, so I don't have a lot of knowledge about baseball or softball or anything, but I have a whole lot of knowledge about being right. And I have a whole lot of knowledge about being honest and upfront, and that's my stand. That's what I'm trying to do.
The president of the Sylacauga City Council indicated tonight, at least a lot of people believe this was what he was getting at, that there's no rescinding of the contract. Take a look.
Again, we have not said that we're taking fields away from Little League. We have put in process a one-year plan, which is a provision of the current agreement, to have discussions about the transition of the care of the parks into parks and rec fields into parks and recreation, but we have not had those discussions on parks and recreation. We have not said that Little League can't play ball. We've said that the agreement as it currently exists has been canceled because the contract allows us to cancel.
And that's the information that was worded in the letter that was sent to Little League?
The cancellation letter simply says the agreement is canceled. There's no explanation.
But there's nothing in the letter that tells Little League they have an option to do another contract with the city?
There will not be another contract with the city.
Okay, so.
All right. The president of Sylacauga City Council said there'd be No other contract with the city of Sylacauga with Little League Baseball. Kenan, your take on this tonight?
Well, first of all, I'm not for Cal Ripken. I'm not for Little League. I'm for baseball. I'm for the youth of the community. I'm for enhancing and developing these kids. So it's more of a matter of principle for me. So while I do believe you, Mr. Blackmon, that as you voted to send this letter, you had full faith that it's just for negotiation purposes. And it is well within the council's right. However, that doesn't make it right that you did it. So that's my take. This is more of a larger problem here, or future problem. So if we're going to have a few members of the council manipulating the rest of the council, especially when the full council is not available to vote, if they'll do it for Little League Baseball, then what else will they do it for? And that's really why I'm passionate about it. I'm not on social media. I am for my business. I'm not on it for any personal reasons. Don't have any common friends in Sylacauga that I know of. However, I do know this has caused a tremendous amount of uproar. And as I said at the meeting, baseball has given me everything I have. It's given me a lot of connections. It's given me a way to make a living that I'm passionate about, and something that's really I enjoy. But when I see something like this, that's just not ethical and not morally right. And I do have a voice in the community with this, platform. So I feel like it's my duty to stand up and say something, and that's why I'm here.
Brother Donnie, the council had met, or at least Ashton had met several times with the Little League, and you guys were in that meeting. How did that get started with you guys and Ashton?
He just called me up one day, and it really was the first time I'd ever talked to him, and asked me about what I think about us bringing the leagues together. Could we sit down and talk about it? And I said, yeah, that's fine. We can talk about it. So we ended up having a meeting with me and Jamie and Steve Patterson and Steve Masters, Eugene Reynolds, I think Brad Logan, and we sat down and talked about it. I don't know, we didn't really get a whole lot in at that meeting, just talking about how to bring it together. What would you do with money? That come up in there. How would you, Little League, because if you shut down a Little League, all that money that you've got in Little League goes back to Little League. So, when that talk come up, that's kind of when I lost interest in it.
Is the council saying that Little League would be no more?
Well, I asked them tonight, and that's because I know somebody had made the statement before that, when Little League shut down over there would be no more Little League in Sylacauga. But they can't do that. We can get people up, go build us a small little complex, and still play Little League. So no, they can't do away with Little League, but it has been said before that they could, but you can't.
With the letter they sent, it effectively is going to shut down local Little League, because not just taking the field away, but if people in this community know that 1 year from now there will be no more Little League field,
Lame duck,
That's right. Mm-hmm. There will be way less participation this year, and Little League has been on the rise numbers wise in this town. And like I said in the meeting, it's not about trying to create the greatest all-star team you can and go try to win a Cal Ripken State Championship. And when Ashton brought out the handwritten poster board he had, where he had all those leagues listed on there, you can go to the Cal Ripken website. Not all of those leagues participated in the state tournament or any of those other things. So a lot of that was sort of grandstanding and really false premise.
Brother Donnie, where do we go from here on this? As a council member of District 3, where do we go next?
Well, my views on it, and I would love to think that there'll be more meetings that we will all be involved in, and we can sit down, we can discuss it. And with all honesty, and listen, I'm on the city council, and I'm there to work with the other council members. I never heard anybody say that they're trying to assassinate the Little League. Never.
Would it be fair that they didn't tell you the truth?
Well, I wasn't in on the meeting.
Is that possible, though?
Well, here's my views on that, and it doesn't matter if it's you two and with Jimmy Dale here.
Uh-huh.
If Mr. Sims tells you something,
uh-huh.
and then he goes on home or wherever, and then you go over to Brother Jimmy Dale's house and you tell him whether it's true or false. What you've told him is hearsay, because he didn't hear it from the one that it came from. That is my stand. It was from the very beginning.
So just in general, you didn't have enough information to make a
I
vote or
have
decision.
to be informed before I can make a decision that I feel like I need to make. And honestly, I don't think it was anybody's desire to just chop somebody's head off.
Sure.
And I would love to think that we can sit down with you. We can sit down with Steve. And I don't know you as well, but I know a lot of your family. And I've been knowing Stephen and Steve Masters also for quite a bit. And honestly, I think they're all good people. I mean,
I guess I'm lost on how Steve Masters plays into this. I mean, does he have some influence over the vote?
To my knowledge, he represents the Cal Ripken team.
Okay.
And he works for the Parks and Rec.
Okay.
But he's the one, my understanding now, so I wouldn't want to be quoted on something.
Well, just so they don't throw him under the bus, he's not the one that had a vote or any influence in sending that letter, correct?
No.
Okay, so really,
Steve's a good guy.
Steve is a good guy, and Steve's caught in a tough position right now. And for him to not have any backing by the Sylacauga Park and Rec Board or any other representation is really a disservice to him and to the city. But here's what I would say about the rest of your council. I've heard you say a couple times that you're there to work with the rest of the council. I would hope you're there to represent the constituents of your district without regard to whatever the rest of the council would like you to do.
Okay, and that's true. And on my running, I don't know if you remember my platform that I run on.
No, sir, I have no idea.
Well, I can tell you, I memorized it. And I hope people that knows me. And if you don't think it hurts when somebody tries to portray you to be something that you know you're not, then you're not much of a human being. Let me finish. And I've not changed that.
Sure.
Here's what I said, and this is all I said. I said, my pledge to you is that I will be fair and honest and accountable to the people that puts me in office.
Sure.
And that's what I'm trying to do. Am I going to make some mistakes? Sure I am. But I can tell you what, I'm going to stick to what I said. I never promised anybody, although, Lord willing, we're fixing to do some street paving. I never promised anybody we was going to pave.
Sure.
But I did promise we'd try to. So going back to this, and I mean, it's on film anyway, and that was offensive when somebody tells you that you've come in there to push your agenda, get your way. That's not true. I mean, I can speak for myself.
That's right. But I guess my retort to that is you seem like a very, very upstanding man. Okay.
But that does not. I am a man.
Yes, sir. That doesn't make everybody else upstanding around you.
Right.
Okay. And that also doesn't mean that those people do not have specific agendas. Okay. And I am one that has said there are two specific people on this council that they have a hidden agenda, and one in particular is impressionable, and he's being manipulated and pushed into forcing his agenda. And it's come to this. And so now I will say, I believe what you're saying about yourself. However, the only way we can judge you on this council is by your voting record. And you voted with these people. And so just because they told you that and I'm sure I can see how it goes. Hey, Mr. Donnie, we need to get this done so we can open up some negotiations. This will be a good thing. It won't be a big deal. We need your vote. Okay, I understand that. And then once you pull the trigger on it, all bets are off because that contract is in effect. That document is a legal entity. And that's the only thing we can go off of. What your platform was or anything else is irrelevant. What your voting record is and the way you're letting other people manipulate your votes is a direct reflection.
Rocky, let me ask you, Rocky. In this meeting tonight, there's a big crowd there. Mm-hmm. What were some of the points that you took out of that meeting?
I mean, just the main one was we're not getting the fields back. I mean, because that's what we all went up there. we was hoping we could persuade them to
How
rescind the vote.
did you get that tonight? How did you get that impression that you won't get the fields back?
Lee Perryman pretty much said that Little League would never charter over there again. I don't know if he said those exact words, but it was what we played on the film a while ago.
They said they would never get it. It wouldn't be another contract.
Yeah, and I think it kind of slipped up. I don't think he really wanted to go as far as saying that right there, but
Brother Donnie, getting back to that letter that was sent by Wynn Livingston, of course, the attorney for the city of Sylacauga, and he sent it at the request of the council. And correct. I hear different ones say that the letter can be rescinded and it won't be rescinded. What are your feelings on that? You think it can be?
Well, that's my assumption that it can be.
Okay.
Am I going to ever be in agreement to do it without further information? No, I'm not at that point yet. But I'm open to listen. I'm open for reasoning.
Did you hear anything tonight that would have swayed your opinion? And if you didn't, what are you looking for?
In which way?
Well, in the whole meeting. I mean, you said you're open to listening. Okay, so you can form your own opinion. I don't really know what else could be said to form a different opinion. So if you didn't walk away from tonight's meeting without an opinion, I don't really know what you were listening to in that meeting or what you're looking for in general.
Well, I can tell you some things that I'm not one, and I don't think you heard me get up there and go to bashing anybody.
Well, it's not about you even speaking. It's about you listening and taking in so you can make your own
believe
opinion.
Believe me, I did listen.
Okay, may I ask, did you learn anything is what I'm asking?
Well, I learned that some people's opposed to what we did.
That's all that you learned? You didn't gather any information that could help you maybe change your opinion, is what I'm asking.
Well, I think any information can help you.
What more information would you like? What would you like to say?
In either direction.
Sure.
There's two ways to change.
But you've already made one opinion, and you've already picked your direction, so there's only one way for you to change.
Is Rocky, the people that were there tonight, were they most pro Little League, or were
there was
Ripken, or?
Yeah, there was. I don't know how many people was there really, but yeah, it was maybe 10.
How could this affect? You got your sign up coming up in early February. How could this affect the sign up? We talked about the lame duck, and that's a real thing to look at right there.
I mean, I would rather none of this be happening and we would do our sign-ups regular, but I mean, I really think it can help. Because there was people out there that told me last year, oh, I didn't know Little League still existed. They know now. I mean, because it's been out there, it's been talked about a lot. I really think it can help us. I mean, because it's out there. I mean, they know, we might not have but 1 year left on that field, but it won't take long. We'll have another field.
You came up through the Little League system, and a lot of people made a positive impact on your life coming up through that system, and names at that park that's named after. I mean, I heard someone say the other day, said, talking about Richard Wingard, and I'm a Richard Wingard fan, and just someone that I've always admired, and worked with the kids and with the parents and stuff, but it's hard to imagine that Little League could be gone. I mean, as we know it, Little League could be gone.
Well, the plan's in place. I mean, it's headed out the door unless the council is willing to rescind it. And I would be optimistic that Rocky's point about potentially helping signups is right. I'd be a little bit less apt to say that out loud because, as I said before, I think there's some hidden agenda going on. And when you give ammunition,
let's pull up a stake right here.
Sure.
Talk about some of the hidden agenda that you brought up several times.
Well, so there's no specifics that can be told because it all happens behind closed doors. Something has happened to prompt this, okay? And so in the years past, this has never been an issue. So someone or some group of someones have some agenda. So they have proposed this. I would be willing to bet, and listen, some of this is speculation, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out how this played out. I doubt seriously that 1 or 2 council members scoured through every contract in the city to find loopholes so they can make the city council better or make the Park and Rec department better. The way this came up was underhanded, and the way the vote was sort of pushed through quietly was not ethical, in my opinion. I don't know the exact procedures for the council to bring things up like this or even have votes on these things. I wish someone would go and just make sure that they did follow the proper procedure, because that's the first thing. If there's some sort of legal way that we could, make people aware that this was not done through the appropriate channels, we need to find that out. If it was, then we need to continue to fight for them to rescind it. And to be honest with you, I've heard nothing from any of the council but aside from Dallas Davenport, that makes me believe that the rest of the 4 would change their vote. And it seems to me that a couple have a way strong influence on a couple of the others.
Brother Donnie, share why you voted the way you voted.
Well, I think I did that tonight. My understanding that you all was being hard-headed.
That's what they was.
Well, I mean, is that true or false? I mean, that was.
It's come down to it. That's being hard-headed after.
But in way of defense, and by the way, I do agree with you on this one issue. I don't think this is going to keep people registering up for Little League this year. I think you'll have more also, because we've seen from the support tonight that you have got some supporters that's out there. But what was the question again? I got my mind.
What made you vote that way?
Yeah, it was 4-0. I mean, and Dallas wasn't there, so.
And we don't know for sure, providing the same information that I cast my vote on. I mean, we don't know how.
So you may have been
we don't know how
misled.
Dallas would have voted, and I'm not here to, I'm trying to answer questions and express my heart, but I just didn't know. I did not know that much about Little League. I don't know a whole lot about Cal Ripken. I know some things, and our kids played in Little League, and we've had some that played in Cal Ripken also. I like some of the things that both leagues has got. I've even made the suggestion I would like to look into the option of, some says you can do it, some says you can't, have the 2 charters, Little League charter, Cal Ripken charter, and both play in the All-Stars. But still, you got to do it. And one thing that really troubled me when our kids was coming up, if you wasn't a superstar, you didn't hardly get to play in no league, including Little League. That's true.
Not really, because there's rules in Little League.
Yeah, well,
there's rules in Little League.
You had to have your 2 innings and 1 at bat.
Right, but I'm in favor. You don't have to be because I'm one that believes that it doesn't matter if it's Cal Ripken, it doesn't matter if it's Dixie League, it doesn't matter if it's Little League. The men and women that teaches these kids and coaches them are making and putting values, or should be, in their lives that they'll carry with them the rest of their lives.
One question, and we're going to go to break. And I appreciate Eric and Robert in there helping us tonight. One question. The vote was what, 2 weeks ago?
I think so.
Would it be a fair question to ask if you knew then what you know now, which you didn't obviously? Would that may have caused you to look at it a little bit more?
Let me. I'll answer that question. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what I would have done, but I would have sure thought of it a lot. I mean, I'm thinking more on it now. But would I still voted that way? Well, I would have loved to think if we had proper information, and I hope I didn't hear all that I wanted to hear even tonight. And I think that can sway a person's vote.
Sure.
But the one thing, and I know, and you seem like you're well trained in how to present yourself, and that's good. But I would never want you to present yourself in a way that you're trying to call me dishonest, or you're trying to call me something that I know in my heart I'm not.
Well, I don't know about
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I voted my convictions.
Okay.
And maybe those convictions were sort of misplaced. I don't know. But I'm duty bound to stick by that. Yes, I voted. If we
Well, you're legally bound to stick by it now.
Well, that's true. If
Not
we
duty
had
bound.
the vote again tonight, certainly I would think about it more. I would have thought about it more the next day. That's just like you got high knowledge and you got foresight and hindsight. We got to weigh all of that in. But it never has been my intention. I'm trying to build the lives of people, not tear them down.
Is it legal for you could you have not voted in that? Could you have taken yourself out and not participated in that vote?
I probably could have.
Okay, so without having the proper information, like you said you didn't, instead of taking another councilman's word, wouldn't it have been in your best interest to probably take yourself away from that vote?
It could have been.
I believe it would have been for sure.
But here's another thing. It's just like and I use this in messages sometimes. People that knows me knows that I would never do anything dishonest.
Right.
Would I make mistakes? Sure I do.
Sure.
You've made mistakes.
Absolutely.
You may not admit it, but
Every
you
day.
have, and certainly you have, and we'll continue to do it. What we can do, if we make mistakes, we feel like we've made a mistake, then we need to move on. But here's the thing, and I'm telling you, people don't realize I have lost a lot of sleep over this because I want to do what's right, and I continue to want to do what's right. But
I believe there's a lot of other people that have lost sleep over it as well, just to be fair.
and I don't know what other
So this is not
people's
necessarily
done.
about your feelings, just
Well,
to
I know,
be fair.
but I don't know what other people's done, but I know what I've done.
Sure.
So I can't speak for you or you because
Sure.
you're not me. But the thing about it, if somebody that really knows me knows that I'm not going to do anything to hurt people.
Sure.
If
The ones that don't, though, can only judge you on your vote.
Well, I know that, and you have certainly made that point.
Yes, sir, and I will
several
continue
times,
to.
And you just keep doing what you feel like you need to do. But and you know what? I have to rely on people that knows me. If somebody come to you and said, I saw Brother Blackmon coming out of the liquor store with a sack in his hand, I'm sure it had alcohol in it, you could say, well, you're mistaken. I know him, and he wouldn't do that. And if they keep on and say, oh, yes, it was him, then at some point you got to say, you're lying because I know him. What I'm relying on now, with all the bashing, with all the ill feelings, that's not going to sway people that knows the Donnie Blackmon, the true Donnie Blackmon. I have not made any decisions that I willingly made with the assumption that it was going to hurt somebody.
All right, let's take a break, and we'll come back with more. Donnie, appreciate you being here tonight, and you're welcome. All of you guys are welcome to stay another half hour if you'd like, and we're going to continue to talk. We've got some more interviews coming up, too, as we continue the post-coverage of the Sylacauga City Council meeting here tonight with Sylacauga Little League and Cal Ripken Baseball. We've got more after this.
Not getting a good night's sleep? Come into King's Mattress Outlet in Sylacauga and let us help you get that good night's sleep you deserve. We carry the best quality mattresses at the best prices from Restonic, King Cole, and Park Place. Eurotop Queen mattresses start at $199. Check out our Restonic Cabot Eurotop mattress with 1,000 individually pocketed coils, marvelous middle for back support, and comfort gel memory foam. King's Mattress Outlet in Sylacauga. Best quality at the best prices. In Alabama, there are two things we take serious: football and barbecue. And at August Barbecue, we take our business serious. Our meat is smoked daily to give you the freshest and best quality. Ask about our daily vegetable specials. And don't forget about our beef brisket, served up every Thursday and Friday. We have a great outdoor seating area to enjoy the best live music around every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. Great service, great atmosphere, and great food. August Barbecue. You can taste the difference.
My name is Tarita Kirkland. I live at 228 South Cannon Avenue. And the reason why I'm here today is because I didn't know there was a problem. And how I found out there was a problem between the two leagues was I was watching Jimmy Dale. Now, if we say we are here for the kids, are we here for the kids, or we here for our people? So if we're here for the kids, then we need to come together for the kids. Now, y'all have great reports about what you need to do for us coming together. If it's all about the kids, then let it be all about the kids. If there's some money involved, put it out on the table. So don't go home in your private closet and have your discussions and then everybody at each other. Sylacauga is a wonderful city, and we don't need to be divided about no baseball field. Now it's time for us to straighten up and fly right. Now really, when Little League was playing and Cal Ripley came out, you know what I thought? Hope nobody get offended. I thought Cal Ripley came out so little black kids could play more. It's the truth. Yes, I did. Because I got great kids playing. So the thing is that sometimes, we got money issues, family friends, this is my buddy, so guess what? My child gonna play more. So if it's all about the kids, let it be about the kids instead of this baseball field. And that's all I got to say.
There she goes. And, Jamie, she went right to the point, didn't she?
She did. She made a very good point. It's about the kids, and I think that's what everybody needs to focus on.
Jamie Elliott, who's the treasurer for the Sylacauga Little League, joining us for a few minutes here tonight. And what was your take of the meeting tonight?
I believe, the council realized that this affected more than what they thought it would. I don't know if they thought this would be an easy decision, and, in Sylacauga Little League, just go away. But I think now they know that we're here and we're ready to play ball.
Ken, a lot of people there tonight, a lot of high emotion there, a lot of tension at the meeting tonight. But we've got to get some middle ground here somewhere.
Sure.
To get something going the right direction, because these kids, and I have a grandson who's 7 years old, and he's been in the Little League system for 3 years, and he really doesn't care.
Sure.
I mean, he'd rather count train cars,
right,
or chase butterflies. And to me, that's the pureness of our system here. Whether it's Cal Ripken or Little League, these children are being molded, and they're going to be adults one day. And somebody said to me tonight, we need to be adults right now.
Sure. I agree with that. So here's the thing that I think is most important. People should understand that just because somebody says that if Little League is to dissolve and everybody merges to Cal Ripken, that all those people will have their best interests at heart. Yeah, probably. Maybe not. However, the Little League has a board in place. They have a long-standing tradition, and I don't think tradition and history has a whole lot to do with this argument, to be honest with you. I think facts is what we need to focus on, not somebody's word or what somebody says they may or may not do. But one thing we do know is that there's people that are involved in this Little League system that have been involved for a whole lot of time, many years. And these are upstanding people, and they come from a variety of backgrounds, from hourly wage workers to executives. And all those people have the best interest for those kids at heart, and the community should have an option for that. You should not be forced to go in one direction. And I'll tell you what is another option that may happen. If Little League is to be taken away, I think it would be unwise for Cal Ripken to just assume that all the kids are going to go to their league. I do not think that'll happen, because there are many more options than just Cal Ripken out there.
Jamie, your girlfriend,
Yes, sir.
was at the meeting tonight.
Yes, sir.
And she was speaking at the podium. And some people thought that she may have been cut off before she finished what she was wanting to say.
Yeah, she had quite a few notes written down, and questions she wanted to ask. And Mr. Perryman, he held her, to that 3-minute mark. I believe he said that he was the one who made the rules on how long people have to speak. I feel she had some very important points to make, but if Mr. Perryman says you got 3 minutes to talk, then that's what he stuck by.
All right, let's take a look and listen to this.
The first time, he said we would relay everything to the board. I let my board know, during whenever the next board meeting was, and he would get back to me. And that's how we ran it.
But if Rocky was talking to Ashton and he's a member of your board, why didn't Rocky set up a meeting with your board? Rocky should have set up that meeting. But I know I was just saying, but Rocky should have, since he was y'all's representative that Ashton talked to, he should have set up the meeting and then invited Ashton to that.
So can you tell me under what timeline you began communicating with Rocky as a representative of Little League, and what timeline was presented to him as to when you wanted to have a solution in place?
Now, I talked to him several months before.
End of October.
Yeah, the end of October. And we got together, talked, and said, we need to come up with a solution. I want, we would have 1 league, 2 leagues into one. And I said, let's set up a meet time when both parties can meet, and we'll do that. And at the first meeting, we had the state commissioners there and stuff, and I had a meeting with college baseball coaches come in and other people like that just to talk and give their side of things. And we really had 2 kind of official meetings with everybody involved, and the rest of the time it was Rocky and I talking, or him talking to his board.
Okay. So what type of timeline was given to Rocky to present to his board for when you would like to have a solution?
I never heard anything back. We talked about it. And
I went and told the board about the double charter.
But I'm asking you, as a representative of the council, what timeline did you give to Rocky to say we would like to have a solution by this point, or we're going to move forward?
Well, I said from the beginning when I mentioned it that there was a provision in the clause, and we didn't want it to come to worst case scenario, but based on previous experiences with other councilmen, people that had gone about this same situation like I have, they've been, I guess you would say, for lack of a better word, stonewalled and kept going without a response until registration, in January, February. And then they would say, well, we're in a season, we'll talk to you next off season. And it continued back. No.
Okay, thank you. Now that the decision has been made to take the fields away from Little League, what considerations have been given to families who don't feel safe participating in sporting events at the Concord Complex?
Let me interrupt. Again, we have not said that we're taking fields away from Little League. We have put in process a 1-year plan, which is a provision of the current agreement, to have discussions about the transition of the care of the parks into parks and rec fields, into parks and recreation, but we have not had those discussions on parks and recreation. We have not said that Little League can't play ball. We've said that the agreement as it currently exists has been canceled because the contract allows us to cancel.
And that's the information that was worded in the letter that was sent to Little League?
The cancellation letter simply says the agreement is canceled. There's no explanation.
But there's nothing in the letter that tells Little League they have an option to do another contract with the city?
There will not be another contract with the city.
Okay, so the fields away.
I don't know if you guys remember all of this or not from the meeting, but Jody was asking about the contract, and Ashton had quite a bit to say about that, and talking with you guys and stuff like that, and with others, and she went into the point about the contract being rescinded, the contract being renewed, and I don't know really what he meant by this, not being in his mind, but Lee Pearman, who's the president of the council, said there would not be another contract with the city of Sylacauga. Now, I don't know exactly what he meant by that. Any input on it?
In my opinion, he feels what's done is done. He's gotten his way, and it was essentially grandstanding to have the meeting tonight, because there was no indication as to how we would proceed. I asked the question at the end of the meeting how we were going to determine if it is going to be rescinded or not. There was no answer for that. I did ask how many votes it took to rescind it. He says 3. We feel pretty sure we've got one that wants to rescind it. We know because Dallas said it publicly in his written statement. I feel like Ashton and Lee Perryman are set, and their goal is to ride this out until the 12-month or the 366 day, and they'll be done with it.
Why? And I asked Ashton this, and he said, it's about the kids. He wants the best for these kids. And, I've known Ashton for a while, and he became a hot point because he was going to be the mediator between the two entities. And I told someone not too long ago, I said, you start messing with kids no matter where you are, you're going to get kickback. You're going to get feedback from people who don't really like that. And so Ashton did say on this show, on Daybreak, that the contract could be rescinded. And, I think that over the last 2 weeks, Brother Donnie, more people have spoken out about this, and it has caused people to step back and say, we may look at this a little bit deeper.
We must look at it deeper.
So, if indeed after this meeting tonight, where there was certainly no vote taken, what's next for the council, do you think?
Well,
any idea?
I think we need to sit down. We need to talk with the Little League. And there's a time, and that was one reason that Cal Ripken didn't have a lot of representatives there. I mean,
Why is that?
Well, this was something to determine something about Little League, and I would not be in favor of sitting down with Little League and Cal Ripken to try to work something negotiable out with Little League. Mm-hmm. And just a thought that I picked up when you had made the statement a while ago that Lee and Ashton was going to ride it out. But several times you've mentioned that it's a done deal.
It is.
Why would they want to ride it out if it's already a done deal?
Because they have to. Because they have to.
Yeah.
Do you understand how the contract works?
I understand that it comes in full effect in a year. My understanding, we can negotiate during that year.
Right.
We can repeal it. We can do a new contract. We can
When
do
you say
any of that.
when you say we, you mean the council, right?
I mean the council.
And it takes how many votes to do that?
Well, you got 5. It takes the same amount of votes.
No, I'm asking.
Well, you got 5 council members.
It has to be unanimous.
3 is a majority.
So it's a majority vote.
Well, that's a way in anything.
No, not in anything. It's not.
Oh, it's not.
No, you cannot just assume that any board vote or any other vote is just a majority, because that is not the case. Not even close.
Give me an example when it's not. Give me an example when you have to have, say, 5 people.
Have you heard of a supermajority or in any other board structure, a corporate board structure? They write in there.
I've never been.
Well, I'm answering.
No, I never have.
So in any board bylaws or any, they can set up any structure they want.
Now,
okay, so the city operates under a structure. The council, which you've now informed me that they take a regular majority, which is 3 out of 5 votes.
See it.
Okay, that's all I was asking. So my point is, there's 2 of them that aren't changing their vote. That's what I meant when I said they're going to ride it out. Lee Perryman, Ashton Fowler. I do not believe that they will change their opinion or change their vote. Okay, so that leaves it to you.
I'm not going to say they won't. I don't know. I'm not them.
No, I understand.
And certainly you're not them.
But when you voted, well, yeah, but I can see what they represent, and you can too, I hope. So when y'all voted, you told me and everyone else that you based your vote in large part on what they told you that they intended to do. Is that correct?
I based my vote on what I believed we was gonna do.
And why did you believe that?
Because we didn't know what Little League had said. Some of us did.
No, but why did you believe that on your vote? I mean, I don't understand that. To me, that's not a valid point.
Well, it doesn't matter what it is to you. You didn't take the vote. I did.
No, I didn't. I know, so that's why I'm arguing that you're not representing your position correctly.
Let's get Steve Masters. Steve was there representing the Parks and Recreation Board, and I think we've got this soundbite from Steve right now.
Steve, the first question I think a lot of people who are probably watching this that don't know, why is there 2 leagues here in town?
This league, the Cal Ripken League, was started years ago in 2007, there was a group of parents who come to the Sylacauga Park and Rec and asked them if they would start a baseball program. And just like we started volleyball this year, and we started flag football a couple of years ago, and we brought back men's and women's softball years ago, when they come to us asking us to provide a service, we stepped up and did it.
A lot of very, very strong emotions revolving around this whole situation. From your point of view, how do you see this?
I mean, you know, I've said it publicly and privately to each one of them as an individual. I have no issues against Little League. I played Little League myself. I coached Little League for 8 years when my son came through the program. It's my job, when I was hired at Sylacauga Parks and Rec, to run Cal Ripken. I think Cal Ripken's a great program. I think Little League's a great program. There's other options also that we can look at, but hopefully we can just all get together and sit down as reasonable adults in one room and decide what the best option for our youth is.
You think a lot come out of this meeting tonight?
I think a lot of people were able to express their opinion, but as far as solutions presented and stuff like that, I don't think that conversation really extended any better.
Steve, talking about Cal Ripken starting in 2007, and he was sharing that, you know, he came up, he coached in Little League, and so he has a warm spot for Little League, as he does Cal Ripken, but Little League began to struggle with their numbers. Was it in 2007 they began to struggle, or was it after that? Do we know?
That'd be a question for the Little League people. I'm not sure.
I'm not for certain, but I would say it wasn't immediately that Little League began struggling. But we have definitely turned things around, and like Rocky has said many times, we've doubled our numbers.
Is there any thought, any concern that you guys would have that the city of Sylacauga is not big enough for two leagues?
It seemed to work fine this past year, and the Little League numbers have grown. You know, so I don't necessarily think that's a valid point or a concern. I think you know, as far as the numbers dwindling for Little League when the league split, I mean that's a natural sort of attrition.
Certainly.
And I think that split happened initially because of adults as well. You know, and I just hate to see that it's come once again to adults, not having the best interest of the kids at heart, and no matter how they represent it, it's just the actions do not represent their words.
Jamie, where are we financially with the Sylacauga Little League?
We're sitting well, you know, with fundraisers and.
Do you have any numbers that you can share?
I don't know if I can share them.
Okay.
I wouldn't feel comfortable without, you know, approval. But you know, one thing I'd like to
safe to say you have a surplus in the bank.
Yes, we are in the black. But
and you have no paid employees.
We have no paid employees. You know, they keep saying that the Parks and Rec funds go straight into the field. You know, whatever income they make. Well, it's the same with us. You know, we had actually implemented a renovation. We were getting ready to do renovations, remodeling, and upgrades when Ashton contacted Rocky about us meeting, you know, to discuss these things. So we put everything on hold because we didn't want to sink all of our monies into the fields and surrounding areas, you know, if it was going to be taken away from us. And, you know, I think that's one thing, you know, that, you know, we as Little League would like everybody to know, this isn't Little League versus Cal Ripken. We're not out there saying Little League's better than Cal Ripken. Social media, you know, there's plenty of fussing back and forth about which is better and which one prepares. I think Kenan addressed that very well at the meeting tonight. When I was in the meeting with Ashton and Rocky and Steve Masters, they asked what I would like to see, and I said I would like to see, you know, us take a team to the Little League World Series. I mean, who wouldn't like that? And they told me, you know, that we couldn't make this whole town cater to 12 kids by, you know, forcing them to play Little League in the hopes of going to a World Series. I think Kenan kind of addressed that. You know, you're not, you have all these kids and only a small percentage are actually going to make it to high school ball. A smaller percentage is going to make it to college ball, and an even smaller percentage will make it pro. You know, and I think they turned that around into Well, Cal Ripken prepares them better for Babe Ruth or high school ball or later on in life in ball. But as Kenan addressed, that's travel ball now. That prepares you for baseball later on in life. Little League is about tradition. I'm not saying Cal Ripken doesn't volunteer their time, but Little League, there's times out there when, I got the kids with me and they're helping me pick up trash. They're helping me paint the bathroom at the Little League fields. Same with Rocky and his kids. All the board members have had their kids out there helping, improve the fields at Wingard Park. And I feel that's something, that's being taken away from us. That we're teaching the kids, better aspects of life. They know that we're not just running away from them to get away from them, because we're taking them with us and showing them that we're volunteering so that they have a nice place to play ball. And, we want to instill that into the children of Sylacauga.
Brother Donnie, as well as I know you, I know your mind is thinking as these conversations are going on, which you've been involved in as well tonight. Give us your thoughts about the feeling of something being taken away from the kids. And we talked about we want to enhance our children, but when you start talking about taking away something, that kind of gets people's dander up a little bit.
Well, I tell you what you could do is, and you may have not alluded to this. You set a child down that plays Little League, whatever age it is, and ask them that question. They won't say nothing's been took away from them. This is something that adults has done, and you alluded a little to the mistake, and it was a crucial mistake that was made back several years ago. And I'll not go into details because I probably don't have all the details. But it was something that happened that wasn't supposed to happen, and it was Little League that allowed that to happen. And that's what caused people to go away from Little League and form the Cal Ripken.
I'm sorry, what mistake are you referring to?
You tell me what caused the split, what caused Cal Ripken, either one of y'all, to start.
Well,
it was all Little League. What caused the other to purgatory?
So I really don't know, but I do know that adults brought it up.
Sure.
You
said that you mentioned your grandson and your grandchildren, and I've got a young great granddaughter, and of course she's not old enough. But you open them two doors there and say, "Let's have a ball game." They're going to have a ball game, and a lot of times when you get into matters such as this, it comes down, and it's in church world, it's in the business world. You get a power struggle going. The kids is going to hurt, but they don't cause it, and they hadn't caused any of this. And I will have to stick by. I mean, I made a decision where you consider it was a right or wrong decision, or where I consider it, but I made that decision.
Sure.
And as a man, I've got to stick by that.
But you have an opportunity to rescind your decision.
Well, I made that decision based on what I got part of tonight. And
I'm sorry. Explain that to me.
Okay, the decision was bring Little League and a representative and listen.
Could you have done that without voting yes on that contract?
Well, I'm sure we could have.
Absolutely,
but we didn't have opportunity.
And you should have.
Well,
you did have the opportunity because you didn't have to vote.
Yeah, and I don't think you call it dogging, and you probably not, but I consider it sort of dogging. I'll make any decision in the future based on what my convictions are.
Sure.
Now, are they going to always be right decisions? No. Am I going to always, you've been in corporate, you've been in different leagues, you've been on boards and stuff. Have you ever voted in favor of something that you had some iffy about, but you could feel up in the future by voting that way that it would bring something into being that would be better?
Well, I'll answer it like this. I have been in the business world.
Well, a yes or no would be sufficient.
It's not sufficient in that question. If you want me to answer yes or no, I'll say no.
So you've never voted.
If you'd like me to explain it, I'll explain it to you.
You've never voted anything that you was 100% settled in your mind that you would vote the right way.
Oh, absolutely. But you're telling me that you did not
No, I'm
have
not
this
telling
settled.
you anything. I'm just asking you. So go ahead. You tell me what you was going to say.
No, I was just saying that I've made mistakes. Okay.
So have I.
But
We still
at
make
the
mistakes.
time, those mistakes affected me and my family and my business directly. Okay. I did not make an ill-informed vote or decision that affects a large majority of people, because the only boards I've ever been a part of that represent a large majority of people, I've been on boards that represent my own business interest. And I've made some good decisions, I've made some bad decisions. And I hope I've learned from them. But the only vote I've ever been a part of for a board that makes decisions for a large group of people, if I cast that vote, then I felt like I was well informed on it. That's all I can tell you.
Okay.
So did you feel like you were well informed when you made your vote, is what I'm asking.
I think I've explained several times the reason I voted. I wanted to get more informed.
Well, I would just say that if that's the way you're going to vote in the future, you may should rethink that, because that is not probably going to do you justice in the future with your constituents in your district.
Yeah, well, there again, I mean, they have a right.
That's absolutely they do.
But I hope they would come to me and sit down.
I think they would have hoped that you would have come to them before you voted on something as well.
Yeah, well, it would have been impossible to go to everybody in our district.
But it would have been possible to put it in the public view before you voted on it.
Well, I can agree with that.
And so that's why I'm saying there's a manipulation and an agenda, and you got caught up in it. And I feel bad for you that you did, because you seem like a really nice guy, but you got caught up and made an ill-informed decision.
But whether it's a right decision, a fully informed decision, or not, when you make that decision, you've made it.
But this is a special circumstance that you have a chance to rescind
Of course
it.
it is. And well,
So would you rescind it? What I'm asking, would you rescind
what
it?
y'all are believing that we can't rescind it.
No, I didn't say that at all.
Well, you said it's
I asked you if you read
deal that they're out.
Because I don't feel like you will. I think Dallas will vote to rescind it. He's already said he would. Okay. The lady on the council, is it her Miss Nix? Is that her name?
It is she.
I think she's on the fence. I think she is very much enlightened by what happened tonight.
I think is she not the liaison to the Parks and Recreation?
Right,
okay.
she is.
And I think the other two are set in their way. So that's why I said I don't think that those two will vote to rescind it. Now, the three of you have the power.
Yeah. You think, but you're not positive.
What do you mean? What am I not positive about?
You said, I don't think that they were rescinded, those
Sure.
two.
Yeah. That's
But
right.
Are you saying you're positive they won't?
Absolutely not. But I'm saying if the three of you come together, their vote doesn't matter.
Yeah, well,
that's what I'm saying.
And honestly.
And I will say this too, because they stood up and represented. You mentioned earlier that Cal Ripken wasn't well represented. Well, the head of Cal Ripken, the head of Park and Rec, and the city council who voted that brought us to this meeting, they represent Cal Ripken. Everybody knows in this city that Cal Ripken was going to be well represented. Little League was not. So Little League had to have this turnout in order to get to this point of us sitting at this table, because had they not, the meeting would have never happened.
Well, hey, and that's impressive. I had told Rocky, I want to see some numbers. I want to see how people feel.
It's sad, is what it is.
Guys, we gotta cut it off right here. We appreciate you guys being with us, and Brother Donnie, always a pleasure to have you with us.
You
Kim,
too.
good to see you again.
Thank you, sir.
And
appreciate you having me.
Jamie, always good to see you, my friend,
Yes, sir.
and appreciate Rocky for being here too. And thank all of you for watching tonight, and keep well informed. And so, Brother Donnie, I know that you're open with a listening ear if people want to talk to you, and that's the way it should be. And so, we're not anywhere where we need to get to, but we need to keep working at it together. And whether it's 3-2, whether it's 5-0, we got to keep going. And because there's too much at stake here, just to say, well, hey, it's over with. Let's keep going. Thank y'all for being with us.
Well said. Thank you.